There are so many time expressions in English grammar using in, on, and at. The general rules are use at for minutes and hours, use on for days and dates, and use in for longer periods. But there's much more to know about at, on, and in for time periods than this. And in this video, I'm going to explain it all to you. Hello, my name is Rupert Walsh. I'm an expert English grammar teacher. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like more videos from me. Let's start with at then. So at can also be used with these words. At first, at the start, at the end. And these are moments in time. So at first means the very first point in time. It's similar to at the start. At the end means the last moment in time. But we can also use at with longer periods too. At Easter, at Ramadan, at Eid. So these are festival periods. Easter, for example, lasts 3 days. Some people will say 4 days, or some people will say even longer than that. It's a period of time. It's a festival period. Ramadan is an even longer period, and Eid as well. Any festival period that you have in your country, you can use at to describe that period. We can also use at with at the time. Now notice that I've put at the time both in the minutes and hours section and in the longer period section here. This is because at the time can mean a very specific short period of time, and it can mean a longer period of time too. If it's a short specific period of time, I might, for example, have received some exam results. At the time, I was surprised. So in that very specific moment, I was surprised, and then afterwards I got used to it. That's at the time in a short moment. But at the time can be longer if we're looking back in history, for example, at how people lived a long time ago. So perhaps we're reading a book about the 1800s, and in the book it would say about those people, at the time, most people did not have a car. I think probably all people did not have a car. But at the time there means a whole longer period of time. It can mean as long as you wish, but it can be a short period, it could be a longer period depending on the context of what you are saying. We can also use at with moment, at the moment, at this moment, at that moment. This means a very specific moment of time, very specific point in time. At this time is slightly different in terms of the way it is used. Generally, we use at this time when we are communicating a difficult period. If a family experiences the death of another family member, sometimes they put out a statement, a message where they will say, please give us some space, or please don't contact us at this time. And it really means a general period of time, but it's a difficult period of time. So at this time, useful phrase to know if you're trying to communicate a difficult period of time and you want something to happen in that time. And finally, with at, we can also use at with days. But in these cases, it's when we are looking at a specific event happening on a day. So, for example, I'll meet you at Monday's meeting. I'll see you at Tuesday's game. Will you be at Friday's event? So you see here, the days have been made possessive because a particular event is happening on those days. And here we will use at followed by the day followed by the event. So we wouldn't normally say at Monday, but we can say at Monday's meeting. So it's another useful thing to know about at with time. Let's move on to, literally, the word on. So on typically is used with days and dates. On Monday, on the 5th of July. We can also use on with specific days within a festival. On Christmas Day, on Independence Day, on Labour Day. Remember, at was used for festival periods, but on is used for a day within the festival period. So two different uses there. And at for the festival period, on for a day within the festival period. We can also use on when we have a day followed by the particular time of day. So Friday morning, Sunday evening, Saturday afternoon, Monday night, morning, evening, afternoon, night. We still use on with the day. There are some other expressions that we use with on that make it more specific. On time means exactly at the time expected. Let's imagine you're on a train, you're travelling somewhere, somebody is at the station waiting to meet you, and they ask you, do you think you will be on time? And here it means exactly at the expected time, on time. On the dot is a fairly informal phrase that we use to mean absolutely exactly on time. So your friend asks you, do you think you'll be on time? And your answer is, I will be there on the dot. That means within seconds, within moments of when you expect me to be there. We can also use on with these expressions here that also mean at an exact moment. So on return, or on his return, her return, on their return, or on that moment. And here, something is happening, and it's exactly the same time as another thing. Look at the example. The flags were raised, perhaps at Buckingham Palace, on the return of the king. So two things happen. It's exactly the same time, and the preposition on before return shows us that this one thing happened exactly the same time as another. The flags are raised, the king arrives, they're at the same time. The flags were raised on the return of the king. On that moment is similar. On that moment indicates a specific moment in time, usually to introduce something that happens at that specific moment. Let's go on to in. In is usually for longer periods of time, in a week, in a month, in a year, but actually it's for any period of time that is not specified. So any period of time that doesn't have a name. So we can say in a year, but we can also make it really small. In a moment. In a moment, it's a tiny amount of time. In a moment, in a minute, in an hour, in a day, in an evening, in a week, in a month, in a year. Any unspecified period of time that doesn't have a name, we can use in to describe it. No matter how short or long it is, if it's a sense of being a period, we will use in. Now, something about this phrase here, in a minute. Now, in English, when people say in a minute, they don't usually mean exactly 1 minute. They mean sometime soon. So if I say to you, it'll be finished in a minute, I mean not hours, not days. It'll be a short period of time, but I don't mean exactly 1 minute. It could be 2 minutes, could be 3 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes. Probably not a lot longer, but I don't mean exactly in a minute. So don't get confused about that. As well as saying in an hour or in a day or in a week, I can also say in the hour, in the day, in the evening, in the week. This means something slightly different. Look at these two examples here. It'll be finished in an hour. It'll be finished in the hour. Now, when I say it'll be finished in an hour, I mean about 1 hour. after 1 hour, come back, it'll be finished. So here I'm more precise about the term 1 hour. In an hour, I'm expecting a time period of 1 hour. But in the hour means during that 1 hour. So when will it be finished? Well, it could be an hour, but it could be 50 minutes, it could be 40 minutes, it could be after 30 minutes, it could be after 10 minutes, it could be after 1 minute. What I mean here is any time between now and when an hour finishes. So in the hour really means during 1 hour. And it's the same with the other expressions too. We can also say in the beginning, in the end, and these indicate moments of time. In the beginning is similar to at the start. In the end is slightly different to at the end. In the end has a sense of conclusion. You've been building up to something. Maybe a story has been progressing, and in the end, this happens. At the end focuses on the specific ending time, but in the end, there's a build-up to the moment. In time is also used for more specific periods of time, but it's different to on time. Remember, with on time, you mean that you will perhaps achieve something at an exact moment. In time means you'll achieve something by that exact moment. Maybe the exact moment, but maybe a bit before. It will be in time. What it means is when you get to a specific moment in time, you'll find that the activity is completed. So let's go back to the train station example. Your friend is waiting for you at the train station. They ask you, when do you think you'll arrive? And you say, oh, don't worry, I'll be there in time. It means by the time you're expecting me or by the time I need to be there. There's a few more expressions with in as well I'd like to show you. In the middle of, and this means you have a period of time somewhere around the middle is when we're expecting something to happen. So in the middle of the year, we have summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the southern hemisphere. In the middle of the day, the sun is highest in the sky. So in the middle is between one point in time, another point in time, somewhere about 50% of the way between the two. There are still more phrases that we use in English with at, on, and in. Join me for my next videos where I will be going through them more.